right, Yote fans, welcome back to week 13 of the Steel Show. First of all, thanks to everyone for coming out this last weekend as we hosted our first playoff game. The tailgate atmosphere was phenomenal. The stadium atmosphere was incredible. It certainly affected the players and gave them a ton of energy, so we appreciate that. But moving on to the game, Coach, huge day all around from the entire team. So just talk about how proud you are of your team for coming out like that.
I think it's the program thing, to be in the playoffs and the national playoffs after the 6th year, and we were just talking about all the young alums who were there. I think the old alums are super proud, and I couldn't be prouder of the team and the coaches and what we've done to get to that point to host a playoff game was incredible. And I think the people who were there got a taste of how exciting it can be. I still feel like there's nothing like college football. And nothing like college football in November,
It really matters.
in Caldwell, Idaho, and it was fantastic. I thought it was the best thing I've ever been a part of in sports.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then, some of the nuts and bolts of the game. Offense goes for 359 yards rushing. Talk about the performance of the O-line, everyone involved in the run game.
Well, first, it all starts with the plan, and I thought we had a good plan, and I thought we matched up well with Ottawa, and I just thought the things fell into place for us, and from the opening gun, you could tell that we were going to be able to move them around a little bit and get free. Some of those yards obviously came from Darius. We got him untrapped in the first drive. He had a design quarterback run, but then we kind of joked in the second half, well, maybe rolling out to the right and Darius, exiting the back door.
Last couple of weeks it's worked out for you.
Might be our best run, but that's him. He's dynamic, and I think maybe the most impressive thing, though, is we're able to make tough yards.
Yep.
Nick Calzaretta makes tough yards. Dom Garzoli made tough yards. Saturday obviously didn't play, but Justin Hellier, bad ankle, bad shoulder, he's going to find a way. And then Eddie O
shows up again,
finds his way too. So we had a nice little package with Eddie O. We want to use all those guys. But the O-line's playing phenomenal too. Having Ricky Bowman back, Clayton Wolf, a freshman from Homedale High School, is playing very well, and so in a certain sense we've gotten a little bit healthier up front. We're playing maybe better than we have all year, so that's a luxury in week 11, that's for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And then talk about the defense once again. Ottawa gets a few yards, gets a few big plays in the first half. Second half they get nothing. The adjustments were made, they get shut down. Talk about their performance.
Well, they really had us on the run, and I think everybody was there to do that. But they're a tempo team, but they designed their first 10 or 15 plays to be super quick passes and runs, which allows them to stay in that tempo mode, and so they really had us off balance. We seemed a little surprised to me. We seemed just on our heels, and so the adjustments that we were able to make, we stayed with it. Certainly they tried to throw the ball down the field at the end of the half. After we had scored, we get the pick six, and it's a different game, but mainly a different game in the second half because we were able to settle down.
Yep.
We got more the calls in sooner, so the guys were more pleased. Offenses like that, whether it's Oklahoma State or Washington State, their mode is to go fast and do a few plays. So we've kind of seen their plays a couple times. I think that always helps. We know the screen's going to come at some point. We know the quick passes are going to come at some point. And we know the off-tackle run's going to come at some point. And we did a great job of responding, tackled a little bit better across the board. The corners played well. Isaiah Abdul and Dorian Harden played good games, tackling, and so that matters. You have to tackle well when you're in the playoffs, and I thought we were just pretty good in the first half. Second half we were lights out. So absolutely. Hats off to the coaches, the defensive staff again, Coach Jewell and Coach Ko, and the others. But love how the guys respond.
Yep.
They're into it. They're responding well. We found a way to make some plays, turned them over in the second half, and it turned into a rout, but if you were there, it didn't feel like a rout
for a while,
even going into halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then lastly, rounding out the third phase of the game, special teams played a huge role in the game. we block a kick, and there was we got a muff punt, and even we recovered one of our own muff punts to just talk about how big of a role that was.
So let's start with the muff punt, because I think that turned into a touchdown and was huge. But they muffed a punt, and then Jordan Nero, who's a senior, who's always been one of our best special teams players in the last 4 years, he smartly tackles the returner, so he can't get it, and we got other guys down there. So it's just an extraordinarily smart play. We talk all the time. You guys remember, it's just so important to be very, very smart, situationally intelligent as a football player, and we're playing smart football. We are not making a lot of mistakes, and to get a ball like that and to take advantage of that opportunity, not only recover it and then move it in, was huge. Jordan Nero, having him back is really, really important. So he was nicked up a little bit early in the season and missed some games. And then the block field goal at the end was fantastic. Not only preserved the shutout, but I thought it was big. What we saw from one of the earlier scores, they kind of opened the gate on the edge, and Landon Hamill got in there and was fantastic. Those are always boosts, those special teams things, because you kind of don't expect them. But again, Coach Choate has them. Every play matters, and even looking to Grandview, maybe this is the segue into that. The team that they were playing, Concordia, drove the field, scores, they got to kick the extra point to tie. They blocked the extra point and win 31-30. So again, they're just a boost. We got that boost on Saturday, so it was really impressive.
All right, Yo fans, we want to give you guys a little bit of a preview on the Grandview Vikings. They come from the Heart of America Athletic Conference. They had 11-0 regular season, undefeated. They played some tough teams really in the beginning of their schedule. Benedictine, Baker, Evangel, all three of those teams were ranked most of the season. They were able to beat all those teams, obviously, played some close games, ran through their conference pretty easily, had a lot of blowouts. And then last week, they beat Concordia from Michigan, beat them 31-30 at home in the first round of the playoffs. Kind of a back and forth game all day. They actually blocked a PAT at the end of the game, or else Concordia was going to tie it up and hopefully, potentially send it in overtime. So, but they've obviously had a wonderful season. They sit at 12-0 right now. Like I said, the Heart of America Athletic Conference champions. A little bit about their team: the number 20 total defense in the country, number 20 total offense. Number 1 total defense in the country. So they're very high statistically in both categories. Quarterback Johnny Sullivan, 61% completion percentage, 19 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's a very efficient passer, good pocket, presence, throws a good deep ball. He just has a really good command of their offense. Is a great player. They got a wide receiver, Anthony Turner, who's got just under 1,000 yards receiving and 13 touchdowns. So he's a big play guy. They're certainly going to look to get him the ball. It's going to be a challenge for our defensive backfield. When you got a quarterback who's accurate and a receiver who can get open like that, it's certainly going to be a challenge. And then defensively, Austin, I believe it's Chiuchi is his last name. He was the conference defensive player of the year. Guy's got 24.5 tackles for loss and 11.5 sacks. He's just a heck of a player. He's around the ball all day. Makes things happen in the backfield. He's going to be a huge challenge for the C of I offensive line. So those are a few guys to really watch out for this week for the Grandview Vikings. Again, they're a great team, undefeated. We're going to their place, so it's going to be a challenge all around for the Yotes, and we're certainly playing a great opponent this week. And then, so moving on to Grandview, what have you seen from them so far, offensive, defensively, from their team?
Well, they're a storied program, fairly new program. I think started in 2008. They've already won a national championship, and they've been in the playoff 6 out of the last 7 years. So they know what they're doing. Their coach has been around for that time, so they're formidable. They're really good. They know what they're doing. Their talent. They got a number of Division I bounce backs, a number of Division I type athletes. I think they're one of the most physical teams. As a coaching staff, we think they're one of the most physical teams to play this year. So on defense, skill-wise, they're probably a blend of Montana Western and Montana Tech, both of whom gave us some real trouble. And on offense, they're a little bit more like Carroll College and a blend of Western and Carroll College. And so So they have some real weapons. So we have our work cut out for us.
Yes, sir. And then, this is the longest trip that CFI football's ever been on, going out to Iowa. Talk about what changes in this kind of a trip. Usually it's a bus situation, but what have you guys had to prepare for, and what's changed?
Well, I think what we've learned over the years is our guys like to get there. However we travel, whether it's a 12-hour bus trip or a 2-hour bus trip or a 3-hour flight like it is this week, we just want to get into town early and get settled. I think there's some real advantages to travel. I mean, I think in the history of my time in the program, the guys like each other. They like being on the road. No one likes being on a bus for a long time, but
we get along though.
But we make the best of it.
Yep.
And no complaints, no shortcuts, and we have fun. The guys have fun together. So I think this will be a really fun trip for the guys. I think having a charter. We're still trying to raise money for the charter, by the way, but because it's not cheap, but it is a very, very good way to travel, and probably as least expensive as we could possibly go. Thanksgiving weekend, late notice. It's going to be expensive no matter where you go. So I think the guys are very, very excited, and we'll have probably some seats left on the plane if fans and boosters want to go. We're trying to fill up the plane, and it'll be a fun trip.
Yes, sir. So, there is a crowdfunding page set up for the College of Idaho football team right now. You can find it at the College of Idaho website or the Coyote Athletics website. It's on Facebook. It's all over social media. We've already done a good job raising money, but we certainly need your help to get out to Iowa. Tune into the Grandview's broadcast of the game. We'll have that link out for you guys, and making sure that it's on social media and that everyone is dialed in to know where to find the game. Let's support the Yotes any way we can and help them get a win in the quarterbfinals.
I think it's on the radio too, KTSK.
Yes, sir. Yep, 1350 ESPN radio. So anyway, tune in next week. Hopefully we have a next week's show. We're moving on to the semifinals. Go Yotes.
It's exciting stuff. Thanks so much, Broch. And go Yotes. Gosh, it's been tremendous. This whole show, you guys have been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, guys. As for what's happening around the rest of the country this week in the second round of the playoffs of the NAIA Football Championship, there's 8 teams left. Starting off, St. Xavier out of Illinois. They travel to ¡1 Morningside out of Iowa. St. Xavier right now is 9-2, but coming off a big first-round win. Morningside is undefeated 11-0. They're the defending national champions, so they host St. Xavier. Cumberland's University out of Kentucky, they're 10-1. They travel to Marion, Indiana. Marion is the #2 seed. They are also undefeated at 10-0. So that's that second game. 11-0 Lindsey Wilson out of Kentucky travels to Kansas Wesleyan, who's 12-0 right now. So a matchup of 2 undefeated teams. Both of them have been up at the top of the standings all year, so that's a big-time matchup. And then obviously, to round it out, C of I travels to Grandview University out of Iowa. Both teams undefeated, so that's a little bit about what's happening around the country in the quarterfinals this week. And stay tuned. We'll update you guys when the semifinal matches have been set for next week.